Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cut It Out podcast. Today's guest is Annette Sagal. She is a collage artist and art therapist. She's a founding member of the Kyiv Collage Collective and co-founder of CUTOUT Collage Festival and Studio. And she is joining us midwinter during the Russian-Ukrainian War. Let's get right to it. Hi, Annette.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I know things, needless to say, things have been like super difficult in your home country. And I got to say, there was a chance I thought I wasn't going to be able to record because of this Buffalo blizzard. And the part of me that wanted to be like, maybe I should postpone, I was like, no, I can't do that to Annette. And she's been making collages with under headlamps during blackouts, during like actual warfare. So I have had no excuses. So I have to thank you for that as well.
Thank you for having me.
So having said that, you're the only collage artist I know that makes collage under headlamps, which I found very interesting. It's a lot of dedication. So can you tell us a little bit about, like, you know, when you're in this zone and you're creating and you have your headlamp on, like, what's going on through your head?
Yeah, so we have been dealing with the blackouts, electricity blackouts these past months because Russia has been hitting our infrastructures. Mm-hmm. And so every day you never know when you're gonna not have electricity, and it might be from 2 hours to 2 days without electricity, without anything. And so the lives of the freelance artists or people who working on freelance is just running around the city with a laptop and looking for a place where you can sit and work. And like the whole city is buzzing with the sounds of generators, because like a lot of cafes, restaurants, places, businesses, they bought generators to keep doing their work. And so people are like going around, and I've been very lucky because my grandmother, she's kind of connected to a good line here, and she doesn't get the electricity switched off. So currently I'm at her apartment and being here because I don't have electricity in my house. And so almost every day I do go out to the city to look for a place to work, but then some days I'm staying at home and like, okay, I can give myself some time to make a collage. And even when I don't have electricity, I have the headlamp to work, to light my work as a collage artist. Yeah. And my partner is a camper. So he gave me this headlamp as a birthday present last year, and I almost never used it until just now. And now it's become like an essential tool for almost everybody who has it. So yeah.
Wow. So there's people that aren't just making collage that have their headlamps out to create.
Yeah, almost everyone has like a flashlight or a headlamp, but it's more like it's very convenient because you have free hands. You put it on your head.
Sure. So if everyone is like, you know, running to a cafe that has power, you know, that afternoon, are there any like unspoken rules that, hey, you have to buy a coffee or like a muffin to help support these people? Or because I know in the States, you know, there'll be people that will have like maybe buy 1 cup of coffee and they'll stay there for 4 hours to do their work. I'm wondering, is there a trade-off for the business to make sure that all these people that are coming are people trying to help support the business as well?
Well, usually if we do come to a place, then we're staying there for like at least 4 or 5 hours, and then in those hours you can buy they don't have an exact rules. You can buy just 1 cup of coffee or tea and stay there, but like for myself, I do get hungry, or I do I want to drink more tea or whatever.
Sure.
So some places like co-workings, they do have a fee to enter. but it's kind of expensive to do that, and
Oh, gotcha.
it's easier to go to the cafe, and then you also can accidentally run into your friends, and then your table is growing with friends, and they're all like sitting with a computer, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I try to, even though it's war and it's horrible and like it's a lot of stress and trauma, but we do try to find good things in this. And with the Blackouts, I have found myself that I started to going out more into the city, because when I do have power at home, I usually stay at home and work like in my comfort zone, where I have
Sure.
everything that I need. But when you don't have like the essential, the connection, and when the electricity goes out, then you don't have mobile connection as well. And it's really like, this is the toughest thing, that like the hardest thing, that you cannot call your like partner or a friend or
Yeah.
to like check on them, because you don't have a connection. So you have to go to the city and find some connection.
Yeah, that's interesting, because you're making me think of art history a bit, and a lot of these kind of art movements or music movements or scenes that, we grew up enjoying, no matter what it was, they're typically tied to a place, a city, where people are getting together, making artwork and exchanging ideas. And in a way, inadvertently, you're doing that with the people in your town, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm in my basement. So I guess one of the positive things of your situation might be that everyone's kind of forced to hang out and exchange ideas. It seems to me that sounds like a prime spot to have an art movement, or like some kind of cultural movement. People are getting together and exchanging ideas and sharing space.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So speaking of Blackouts, you are you've already hosted, I believe, and you're hosting one in the future, a collage festival coming up called Cut It Out, right?
Cut Out.
I'm sorry. This is Cut It Out. Your festival is called Cut Out. I mean, I think it goes without saying, hosting an event with and putting a bunch of art together, during blackouts and these dangers must be super difficult. Can you tell us a bit about Cut Out, the Cut Out Festival, and what you're trying to do with it?
Yeah. So we have made the CUTOUT Festival, and we hosted it in June of 2021, so last summer.
Okay.
And it was almost 1 month of a lot of fun. We had 11 international artists. We had 30 Ukrainian artists. And it's the first festival like that in Ukraine of contemporary collage. And we had workshops, we had movie screenings. We showed the movie with Lance Letcher. And then I saw that you have an interview with him, and I watched, and it was really interesting to discover more like kind of in person talk, listening to him talk. And we had a collage performance at the end of our festival. And in December of last year of 2021, we have started the preparations for the second festival, which was supposed to happen this summer. And so we made an open call. We started receiving applications. I have already received physical application, the first one from Belgium. And then in February, we had to put it all on pause, and it didn't happen this summer. But I'm very, very hopeful that it's going to happen in the next year, next summer, or next fall. I hope we can continue to make it. But currently we're doing smaller projects, like just themed exhibitions and projects and stuff like that. And it's kind of hard with the Blackouts, because like currently we have an exhibition in the Museum of Holodomor. And Holodomor is like a famine that was caused in Ukraine by Soviet government to starve people to death.
That was Joseph Stalin, right? Was that during his?
Yeah, so he wanted to like get everybody out and clear up the Ukrainian land. So he took all the food and used like the starvation to to do that. And so, and after that, it was prohibited to talk about it. So like a lot of witnesses who have survived, they were threatened to not to talk about it. And so up until now, even now, a lot of people don't believe that it had happened, and like many people don't want to go to the museum because they like afraid that they're going to see some scary pictures of dead people and stuff like that. But actually, it's a very beautiful cultural institution that is growing. They're building their second part of the museum, which is going to be really huge. Currently, it's like a small part, but they're like developing it. And they have like, it's a round round room, and then all around the walls they have projection, and it's like, it's really, really cool when you go inside and like, you see the whole round projection. And we were supposed to put our collages like on the whole on these walls, but then with the blackouts they have turned these projectors off, and we only use one portable projector to like show our collages, because it's like it's mostly digital collage and collage animation. But like we get used to it. Like if we cannot use this, so what we can use instead, and how we can still like be able to show it. And for the other exhibitions that are happening, a lot of places have, like, you plan an exhibition and people come to your place, and then you have the electricity switched off, but nobody, it's like, it's not a problem for the visitors, because they can just like do the flashlight, and they look at art with the flashlight. So nobody's like upset that there's no light, because you can make. And also like people are putting candles in places, and it's like very romantic and intimate, and it's been really cool.
So are you hoping, is the biggest limiting factor the blackouts for having the festival? Is that like the biggest thing, or is it also like international travel for some of the artists as well? But
yeah, blackout is not the worst thing. Firstly, it's international travel. Like for the first festival when we held last summer, nobody from international artists could come, because it was also COVID. So it was like some countries had more restrictions than the others.
Yeah.
So we did invite them to come if they could, but like we understood that if they don't come, it's okay. And so we were like speaking with them mostly online. And now it's kind of hard, because it takes a long time for the post for the parcels to arrive via regular post. So it may take for like 3 months. And also we don't know if we because we are taking the participant fee. In order to participate, you have to pay a fee, which is not much. It's like $8 or something, up to $10, $15. But like still, if we take this money and then we cannot proceed with the festival, like we have to get a lot of returns, and like it's going to be a mess. And
it's a hassle.
This is why we decided to put it on pause. We already had like 3 or 4 submissions that were already paid, and I wrote, because I'm the international communicator for the international artists, so I wrote personally to each of them that like your application is on hold. We can review it when we like continue to make this festival, so we're not like taking it down or anything. And if you do want, we can return the fee for you. But so far, everybody just agreed to wait.
I wonder, maybe a way around the dealing with the post and stuff is you could part of the participation fee, which might have to be more, you can maybe print the work at the museum or service and then hang it up there. That way you don't have to worry about, sending stuff. But that limits things,
Yeah, this is what we did this year. We did a lot of because we could not make exhibitions in Ukraine for a long time, and until I came back to Ukraine, because I left in March and I was in Spain for 4 months. And then I came back to Ukraine in the end of July. So since August, we had started to having some exhibitions and projects in Kyiv and Ukraine. But before that, we were not able to host anything. And so we decided to use that time to make exhibitions in Europe on distance. And this is what we did. We printed out the posters and put it on. But the thing is that we love analog, and when you see the texture of analog collages and so on. So for the festival, we do want to have that, but we will see.
I totally get it. I totally get it. I do love analog. I myself, I'm working on a comic right now, and everything would tell me that doing everything digitally would be easier. And I love the analog because it's when you're drawing, painting, or cutting, it's more high stakes. You really have to not make a mistake sometimes. You can make a mistake a lot, but there's always a few situations where you're like, I better not cut this, this person's arm off, or I better not, spill my ink. So I really, really, really do love analog work. So I totally understand why you're trying to really make it count for and exhibit the analog stuff. I'm really interested to know more about, your collage studio and art space. It's also called Cutout. Is it also called Cutout, the space that you have?
Okay. Cutout Collage Studio, yes.
And is it open to the public? And I see that you have resident artists there as well. Can you just tell us a bit about that, the building and what's going on there?
Yeah. So after we ended the first festival last summer, we've already had a group of people who were interested in doing more, and so what we can do. And we realized that the next festival, the festival is a yearly thing. So how can we what we can do, how we can fill this year with activities without doing the festival. And I've founded the festival with Katya Sita and Olha Sita. So there's three of us, three girls, that decided to do this crazy thing and make a festival of collage. And by the end of the festival, Katya had an idea we need a studio. We need to continue doing something. And we already have a group of people who are interested in being with us. And so 1 month later, in August of 2021, we have found a space. We rented it, and at that time, we had eight residents. And we are, every resident has a monthly resident fee to pay, and with that money we're covering the rent for the space. And we renovated it, we repainted it, the walls, because they were ugly blue, and we decided to paint it in white, and we cleaned it all up. And then we had Katya and Olha, they're sisters, and so they had the furniture from their old parents' house brought to the studio. So we have this whole vintage vibe to the studio.
Is this a pic right from, you mentioned white walls, is this where this is what we're talking about, right? Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and so it is it's not open all the time, because every resident has a key, and every resident can come and go whenever they want and create. And this is common space for us all. And then once a month we would hold an exhibition of the residents, and we would invite one artist outside of the studio to participate in this exhibition as well. And then we had a freestyle collage. So any guest who came to the exhibition could just pick up some magazines and start cutting. And then we also have, for every of our exhibition, we have DJs. So there's also some music to it, so you can dance in collage. There's some wine to drink, some juice to drink. So it's always fun, and there was always a lot of people. And so every month until this like February, we had this fun gatherings, and during the months in between the exhibitions, we would do the workshops that we would like paid workshops where we would invite people, group of people, and sit down and have like themed workshops. We had a workshop with a movie where we watched a short movie, and then with that movie we would like based on that movie we would make a collage and like stuff like that.
Fun. That's so inspiring. Oh, as you're telling the story, I'm like picturing all these places in my own hometown. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. What would be a cool spot? That's so awesome. So you have there's like a lot of people like to know, like, as an artist, how to make money or how to fund things and stuff like that. And I'm curious to know how the space is funded. You already mentioned that you've got like, there's like a monthly fee for the resident artists. And are a lot of the people that work there, do you guys have like daytime jobs, or are you full-time? Are you guys full-time artists? That's like one question I have. And then the other would be like, do you have any like partners? I mean, you don't have to give away any secrets or reveal too much. I would just love to know how you guys make it work, you know, financially.
Yeah, well, we like the force for it is just enthusiasm. And so like when we decided to create a festival, we had nothing in our pockets. Like the three of us were just, let's make a festival, whatever. And it was with the help of friends mostly. Like somebody had donated something to us, and then we had the fee from the participation fee from the artist, which like all the participation fees with that money we put it into the project. So we pay for the framings for the collages. We pay to print out the posters for the festival, some explications, some the name tags for each collage. So it's all goes into it. And so if we have something left after the event, then we can divide it for the three of us. But it's a tiny, like it can cover like the taxi to go home and like get a dinner or something.
Sure.
It's we're mostly doing it not for the money, but for the love of collage. But we also are looking for ways to how we can make money for it, because like this is, for me, I don't have a daytime job. I'm doing freelance designs and like making websites. So
yeah,
mostly like this is what I'm doing the collage lectures, the paid collage lectures, when I get some money from it, and some designs. So yeah, and so we have partners on our website. We have like a lot of rounds with the logos of our partners, but those partners are not helping us financially, but they're more helping us with, like, for example, museums and galleries. They do provide us with a space to hold an exhibition, for example, or they help us with the advertisement, or like with getting the media to get the interview and like record what we're making. And if there's like this year we partnered up with some charity, with some charities, with UNICEF, with PORYAD Ukraine, with No Waste Ukraine. No Waste Ukraine is the recycling station, the first recycling station here in Ukraine, and they recycle the trash. And so we were raising money. We were selling collages on the auction that they organized, and then we were raising money for the refugees of Kharkiv to get them out of the occupied zone and things like that. And like the festivals, the collage festivals, have reached us, or we reached out to them, and like in order to participate in their event, and vice versa. So all our partners are just like helping us, not with the money, but with the support.
Okay. I would imagine that you guys could probably get some grants. I don't know how. I don't know anything about, grant writing, in Ukraine, but here I know we have like not-for-profits, and then you could apply for grants. And something that I learned, like you have an excellent project, so I don't think you have to worry. You don't have to worry about arguing for your sake for a grant. But one thing I learned from a big influence on me was my friends in Miami, Florida of Coral Morphologic. They are a marine biologist artist duo, and they like would literally scuba dive, harvest like bioluminescent coral, take it in their studio and like take pictures of it and stuff. They recently like got a big grant to project their like HD videos all on like the biggest sports stadium in Miami and all this. They were like 25. I was probably like 23. And they were talking about grants. And one thing they told me was like, you'd be so surprised how few people apply for grants to get the money. You know, like they told one friend, like, dude, apply for a grant. You'll get like a, you know, a $5,000 camera. So you have an excellent project. So I could imagine that you guys could probably get some big bucks, you know, for your stuff, for your project, you know.
Yeah. This is we were looking for that, and we're trying to write the project for the grants, but a lot of the grants that they're giving to us here, they're required to have I don't know how it's called, like you have to be registered as a private business owner, something like that.
Yeah, probably it's for grants. I don't know. I think you have to be a not-for-profit, or because I don't know if you could get a grant if you're like a corporation or something like that.
Yeah, so I cannot just get a grant on my personal bank card.
Yeah.
So you have to have this account
organization,
and in order to open that organization, you also have to have money to open it legally and like have it all. And we don't have it all yet, but we're working on it because we want to keep doing it. We want to expand, and we want to like get into selling collage more than we do. Like now it's more like situational selling.
Sure. I would imagine that some of the museums you collab with, they might even have a full-time grant writer on staff, and they might be able to help you through making the organization and the grant writing and all of that. You know, when I worked for a not-for-profit, the woman right next to me, like her whole job was to try to fetch money for the not-for-profit for next year. So she would just like be writing proposals all year long. But, you know, she was bringing in like hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know. That's really cool. I love, it's been really inspiring hearing about like the energy of the space and this kind of like cooperative attitude where you're sharing responsibilities and stuff like that. That's, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for words. It's really, really awesome. I do have a picture of, I have so many questions for you. So, like real quick. So here's a picture of like, you know, one of your workshops, right? And I always tell everyone that listening that like running workshops is a really great, fun way to engage the community and make money. It's harder to sell your own artwork than it is to encourage people to make their own, in my opinion, or maybe my art sucks. I don't know. Is this one of your current resident artists right here?
Yes, this is Natalia Ochman.
Mm-hmm.
She's with us since the beginning, since the first festival, and then she had become our resident, and she's with us all this time, all year long. And I love her style because, like, you can see behind her, she is filling the whole space of the paper with the elements of the magazines, and it's very like it's a lot of thought and put into it.
Filling the whole space certainly can be difficult. I was really struck by this one in the short time I got to look at her work. I saw that with the Kyiv Collage Collective, there were like prompts for artists to talk about some really difficult things that you guys have been dealing with and stuff. Is this a representation of some of the trials of living in a war-torn country right now?
This artwork actually has been done before the full-scale invasion.
Okay.
So it has like a maybe different feel, but then when with the war, everybody, all of us, we had to reimagine all of our work, and like you put another, you look at it and you're like, oh, there's the whole another insight in your head about like thinking about this work. And Natalia particularly, with the full-scale invasion, she had moved from color to the black and white, and in her style, when she's like filling up the whole space, and to fill it up with the black and white, it's really like you have to work a lot to do that.
Yeah,
and,
imagine to go through a lot of magazines to find all of the black and white.
She's now like changing a lot of in her thoughts and her style, and like yeah, it's like I love to watch that happen and that change.
So here I have a picture of you with a really cool collage, like it's like a image of, you know, activism. I've actually never seen something like this before. Usually people just use markers to make their signs when they're protesting, you know, but you have a, you know, full color collage with big bold letters. There's for those that aren't watching and you're listening, and that's holding up a collage poster that is also like a, you know, something you would hold up at a protest. And there's like a black and white, maybe a statue with like flames coming off the side of the face. It says Russia, with the 2 Z's that we're all familiar with from the tanks and stuff like that, is a terrorist state. So this is a great example of, you know, this kind of activist art, or art that's reflecting just all the stuff that you guys are going through. What kind of response did you get from people that saw this particular piece?
Yeah. So this piece, it's a triptych that I have of the analog collages. So this face is the statue, the Soviet statue, like from the Soviet Union era, and I ripped it off, and like there's another like 2 statues that I ripped off in order to represent like that we are breaking from that Soviet sense, and we want to be like, we've always wanted to be independent, and they've always wanted to capture us and grab us, and like that.
Is that particular face or statue like a particular symbol that somebody would recognize in Ukraine, or is it just like a cool black and white face that you found?
I think like in sense of style, I think it's like there's a statue when there's a woman and a man, and they're like holding hands and going together, so it's a big statue.
Okay.
So I also used the other pieces in my other collages. And when this picture was made in Madrid, when I was in Madrid, we would have almost every Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember exactly, but Ukrainians would gather at the peaceful protests and demand like action from Europe and from the representatives. And this particular protest was during the NATO summit in Madrid, and we were demanding to provide us with the weapons to protect ourselves, because we realized that no words can help. Nothing is helping.
Sure.
They only understand weapons, and we need weapons to protect ourselves. So yeah. So that was a lot of people at this protest. They've been just drawing, putting with their signs with the markers, but I have decided to actually use my collage to show it off to the world.
Did you go to well, you said you got your bachelor's in English, bachelor's degree in English?
Yeah.
So listeners, in case you missed it, English is Annette's second language, and she said the word triptych. Holy crap. I'm impressed. I don't think most native English speakers know what that word means. Well done. And so were you trained in design at all? Did you take classes, or how'd you learn to design?
No.
Okay, cool.
Well, I have my bachelor's in diplomacy. It's international relations and cultural diplomacy. So I'm a diplomat.
Oh, look
But
at that.
I've always been into arts. I've always done like photography and music and like drawing a little bit. I don't like to draw. I mostly do like I'm into collage now.
Sure.
And yeah, it's all just like my whole family is artistic, and it's just I think it's always been with me, like the sense of composition and colors.
So you were mentioning, NATO and like, weapons for Ukraine, and I pulled this recent post that you made where you're trying to fundraise money for your friends, like their group of soldiers, right?
Yeah. So
this is wild.
A lot of with this full-scale invasion, a lot of my friends and like everybody's friends or family members, they went to the army. They've quit their jobs and they went to protect our country. And so I have my cousin is there. Many of my friends are on the front lines at the hot spots of the war. And so every day they need like something. They need like a new drone, or they need a car, because like at war it's also get blown up easily. So like you buy a drone and the next day it can be destroyed. So like it's a lot to fundraise money. It's a lot of work. And then there's a lot of official funds that are helping a lot, and they're like officially raising a lot of money. But then you have to have like an official request from the commander of the battalion, and it takes a lot of time.
A lot of red tape, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it made like this time every second matters, and so like we are raising a lot of the money we're raising by ourselves with like the help of friends, and you post it on Instagram and you repost it and you send it to everybody who you think may help. And we have a rule here in Ukraine, because a lot of people like in Europe, in States, they don't want to donate because they think they're not donating much money. Like they don't want to donate a little bit of money because like they don't think it's going to be cool, kind of like
it's not going to have any impact or something.
Yeah. But here in Ukraine, we have a rule of 2 hryvnias, and 2 hryvnias is, I don't know, like 50 cents something. Like even every penny counts. Even if you send $1, it already like if every person sends $1, then we have like if 1,000 people send $1, then we have $1,000.
So there's like a cap on how much like like if an organization is taking in donations, you guys have a rule where there's a cap of how much like percent of that money can be taken.
No, I mean that like you can donate 100, or you can donate just two, not just.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like, you can donate $2 or you can donate $100, but that $2 means just as much as 100.
Gotcha.
So
okay,
like,
I understand.
Every small donation counts, and that's what we're trying to like. When you ask your friends around to donate, and like just little by little, you get the full amount of money, and then you can buy something that can help save lives of your friends and family members.
I'm just curious, like when you're like walking around town and stuff, is there like a noticeable absence of young men because they're all like fighting, or they're somewhere else? Like, does it feel like there's just not as many like young men walking around as there should be because they're like deployed, or
not really. There's a lot of people who are staying. There are a lot of people who are not capable to go to war.
Sure.
Like the first months, the first days of war, there was a line at the offices, like the line of volunteers that were ready to go, and like just take us, just please take us. And they were filled, they were overcrowded, and they were like, please, like stop coming, we have enough people.
Wow.
Like please, like go do your job and make money, and like invest that money in the army. It's going to be better. So those who have the skill and who have the health, they went, they did that. But then a lot of people are like they're staying at home and they're working at their regular jobs, they're making money, they're keeping the economics going, and then of course obviously donating to help the guys at the front line.
So needless to say, there's everyone's been affected by this war, and you are an art therapist. You're the first art therapist I think I've ever spoken to online or in real life, and I'm curious to know, like, have you been using that? Like I don't know anything about art therapy, and I feel like I should, and I'm just curious, like, about your experience being an art therapist in an area that I imagine, what do we, in the States we say, there's a lot to unpack, right? People, I'm sure, are dealing with a lot of stress and stuff like that. What's been your experience like being an art therapist?
Well, I'm studying art therapy currently. I wanted to do it for about a year now, I was thinking, but I've never had, like, I was lazy to look into it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get into it later. And then this year I realized that it's essential to, like, for like that. When I started making collages in 2018, when I was at a really low, depressed state of my own, and I was about to do something bad, like nothing seems good for me. Nothing was bringing me happiness and anything.
I know what that's like. Yeah.
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 And then you are trying, like, nothing, like photography is not cool anymore, music is not cool anymore, nothing is cool anymore. And then I had a few magazines stacked on my table, and I just started cutting, and ever since then I love it. And so collage is art therapy in itself. And then I realized that I want to, like, when we were holding the workshops, you could see, like, how people are changing, how people are like, whoa, I never realized that it can be like 2 hours of just cutting paper and pasting can be so therapeutic. And then I realized that I do have to get a base, like, to learn how to do it properly and have a base to actually, like, be a therapist. And then I started this September, I started the studies, and I'll get my certificate in May of next year.
So September, so how many months would that be then?
It's like 9 months.
Oh, okay. Is it, so to get your certificate, are there rules in Ukraine where, like, if you want to call yourself an art therapist, you have to be certified, or
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, so, like, in order to officially work and, like, get a good, like, you can, I can still, I can do it right now. I can, like, that's what we were doing before.
Sure.
Holding workshops, but it's just, like, intuitively, and I want to have it more professionally. And
Sure.
Like, if I can get, like, an official payment for it, then I have to have a certification for it as well.
Mm.
And in between, like, currently we have each month I have a module, and module is 2 days, so it's like each month I have 2 days of the studies, and in between those modules I have to practice as a therapist. So I do use the studio space, or I do work online and work with people in collage or in, like, painting or in sculpturing. And there's, like, you're learning all of the aspects of the therapy, is whether it be sound therapy, art therapy, what's called aromatherapy, or, like, color therapy, everything. And then I mainly want to focus in my work with collage, but then you have to know all of these other places,
Sure.
spaces, from, like, how to get. And
are your classes in person? Are your classes in person or online?
I do both.
Okay.
Yeah, I do both, because a lot of people. You're asking about the studies, right?
Oh, well, yeah, because I don't know anything about it, and it's something that's come up for me too, from similar experience to you, where I've done the workshops. I'm an art teacher for elementary school students currently, and so I see that the healing power of it, but I do want to know more about, like, how it works, or, like, maybe eventually have a more flexible schedule, so.
Yeah. So we, as for my studies, we do combine as well. So I go offline in class, and then we are connecting to Zoom And then we have a projector on the wall, and then the Zoom is projected on the wall. So everybody is like, all of the offline people are also in class. And there's a lot of people. We're all like, it just so happened that we're all women in the class. But there's a lot of women that have been relocated because of the war, you know, like then they're in the different country with their kids because they had to save the kids and run away from war. But because we have this online option, they're able to connect, and they're also able to study and be with us. And we've developed, in these 4 months, we've developed a pretty cool group, and it doesn't feel like distant. It's like they're here and we're talking to them, and it's really cool to exchange and to have both experiences, online and offline. And then also, if you get sick or like you cannot go into class, you can just connect online and still be present. And I've also been very inspired by Julia Volons. Julia.
I'll write that down. How do you spell that?
It's Julia. VOLONTC. Julia
VOLONTC.
Yeah, NTS.
Okay. Oh, NTS. Yeah, I definitely would have spelled that wrong. Cool.
So she is a collage artist, and she was a participant of our first festival. And then after that, we had kind of hit it off and connected and started talking. And she's living in New York, and she's half Latvian, so she's in between Latvia and the States. And she has her art therapy lab, and it's online. She's working in an art therapy online, and she's holding a lot of online workshops for art therapy workshops. And we've already collaborated and held 2 charity workshops where we raised money for the army. The first one we raised around $600 for the army, and the second one we raised I don't remember, like $200 or $400 for the UA Animals. It's the organization that helps animals as well, because animals are also suffering from the war. Yeah,
that's
so
just super interesting.
She helped a lot, and she inspired me a lot. And I talked to her about getting into classes, and like she helped me to find something that was going to be suitable, and talked me through this process. So she was definitely an inspiration for me to start the job.
Yeah, I'd imagine having your certificate would help share the art therapy with organizations and institutions, like people that maybe live in assisted living. There's places that have a budget for that stuff, that have a little bit more money than just like individuals, and I would imagine that being certified would like really like open things up for the funding of your space and stuff like that too. That's awesome. I'm so excited to learn more about it, and what I could do here in New York. I don't know how you're doing on time. I still have more questions, and do you still have time left, or yeah? Okay, cool. So let me see. So you formed the Kyiv Collage Collective, and I myself am thinking about doing one locally here with a few other artists. I've been procrastinating, I've been putting it off for like a year, but I'm curious to know like what you've learned from forming the Kyiv Collage Collective, and what your experience has been like doing that.
Well, it's been the most amazing thing in my life.
Cool. That's good. That's
when I started doing collages, I've started like following on Instagram some artists, some like collectives. I found out about Brooklyn Collage Collective, Paris Collage Collective, those kinds of stuff. And I've been following them for quite a long time. And then in January of 2021, So at the beginning of last year, I was sitting at home and I was just scrolling my Instagram and like looking at the collages, and I was like, wait, do we have something like that in Ukraine? Because at that time, I only knew myself and my other friend Alice that would make collages, and then I had no idea if that's a thing in Ukraine and if somebody is doing it. And so I started searching for it, and I found nothing. And I was like, well, I should make it. Like, and then
yeah, it's exciting. Yeah.
15 minutes later, I have a page, I have a logo, I have everything. And then in the course of 1 week, I had 200 followers, active followers from abroad and from Ukraine. People were just finding myself because I didn't know who to find, like who to look for, like what's happening with collage in Ukraine. And
Sure.
like people for some reason somehow have found me. And a lot of people, I received a lot of messages from Ukrainian artists that they were saying like, oh, I was just about to make the page like that, like tomorrow. And I realized that like I tapped into the like the flow, like I'm in it, like I need to keep doing it, I need to be there. This is how it all grew, and this is how I met Katya Sita. And Katya Sita at that time had an opening of her personal collage exhibition, and I was like, wow, this is big. So she invited me to the opening of the exhibition. This is where we met. This is where we were like, oh, we should make an exhibition together, like a group exhibition. And then after her exhibition had ended, we've met up with her and her sister Ola. We've sat down to plan an exhibition, and we planned a festival. And this is how it all like just snowballed into this whole collage movement in Ukraine. And then we've met some people, like we have this artist, his name is Alexander Lapin, and he's an older man. He's like
There's
older.
Another collage artist with the last name of Lapin. Morgan Lapin has created the Brooklyn Collective.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of similar, yes. But he actually tried to make a festival in the 80s, I think, or before I was born. So he was making collages a long time before us, and now he's a part of also our movement, and he's like participating in our events. And is very kind and generous and fun person, and like it's cool. It's really nice to have different ages like in our collage community movement. And so this is how I've been connected to international collage artists. This is when we started the festival. I was responsible for international exhibition as a curator because I'm good in English, and then I already have all these connections. So I just reached out to some people that we thought might fit into the festival. And yeah, it's expanding and it's expanding. And now I have 3,000 followers on Instagram on this page.
That's great.
And it's active. It's not just like you're not buying followers; they're coming.
Sure. That's awesome. So when you initially started the page, were you just trying to scope out like select artists that you knew were in Ukraine and like share their work? Is that how you started creating your posts?
It was everybody. It was Ukraine. I wanted to discover Ukrainian collage mostly, but then I also wanted to share international collages as well. So
sure.
This page is about just my personal curatorial opinion and like preferences in collage.
I like that.
And then I just share. I tried to make an artist of the month, and then I did one, and then I was lazy. Like I had other things coming up, and then it all got like lost somewhere. So I just kept reposting the artworks of other collage artists. And then I had a lot of like initiatives reaching out to me for collaboration, and like so CUTOUT Collage Festival was born out of the Kyiv Collage Collective, and it's all kind of together. It's kind of together.
Sure. That's awesome. I like that perspective. Your own. Can you hear me okay? I know there's a vacuum cleaner going on upstairs. Your own curatorial perspective. That's fantastic. I like that. There's I don't know. There's a lot of bad collage out there. There's a lot of bad art in general,
everywhere, yeah.
And I like that perspective of it. It's your chance to not only share and help support you know, artists in your country, but also have your spin on what you think is like nice work. I like that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like making connections with the international community at a lot of different levels, and you also mentioned that you studied diplomacy, right? It certainly seems like a perfect fit for you. This is wow. This is really cool.
It all
And
comes together.
yeah, right. Who would have known that cutting up some magazines would have kind of been that spark, that like, I don't know, or maybe the glue, we should say, that kind of put everything together. That's so awesome. And so you have the Cutout Festival, and you have like your Cutout Studio, and then you have the Kyiv Collage Collective, which is more of a online presence, but it helps inform and like kind of was a catalyst for creating the festival and the studio. And you have been collaborating with artists from all over the world, both with the collective and with the festival and with the Cutout Studio.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Making me want to hang out with more collage artists. Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, I think I covered most of my questions I had for you. Now, like you mentioned earlier, you know, I know in the States, like, people don't know the best way to, you know, support Ukraine financially or in other ways. Because I know in the States, like, there's some famously popular organizations that will, you know, take half of the money you donate or whatever. And, you know, I'm just curious, like, what is a way that, you know, the international collage community and the listeners of this podcast could help support your project or just the well-being of our Ukrainian neighbors on Spaceship Earth?
Well, we do have a few funds, like official funds, that are actually good, and they're actually like your money is getting into where you think that you're donating.
Sure.
Yeah, but it may take a lot of like longer time to receive. But so when we have fundraisers, like situational fundraisers for friends, we posted. We have PayPal. Like PayPal has opened for Ukraine in February, since like when the war started. They finally decided to open PayPal in Ukraine, because before that you could only send money. You cannot receive money for some reason. I don't know why. But now it's working in Ukraine, and like we have a PayPal account for the festival itself, and I also have my personal PayPal where I'm collecting money, and like all that money, I always put the screenshots of that I've sent it where
Sure.
where it belongs. Like I don't need that money. Like I just want my friends to be alive and well. And
Sure.
I can share some links to the official funds.
Yeah. Well, share. Yeah, please share any PayPal links or funds or fund links that you'd like to. Is there do you have a PayPal like button on your website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I can send it to you.
I recommend that if you don't I even started putting it on some other pages because I got like free content. And I don't know, it's pretty neat to wake up in the morning and, you know, someone sends you $40 first being like, I like your videos, you know. It's only happened a couple times, you know, but it's a nice touch. So yeah, please, when you get a chance, send me whatever links you like for the funds and your PayPal and the festival's PayPal. It'd be awesome. Where can people find your work? What are your, like, you know, handles and stuff like that? We'll share that too, but for those that are just driving in the car or whatever, what's the best place to find your where is the best place to find your stuff?
Well, my personal stuff, my personal collages are at the XX moment, which is like right
on the
there.
screen.
It's where I share my collage. It's where I share my poetry. It's where I share my photography from time to time. So it's all like the art page. And then I have the personal page called The Annette, which is like pictures of myself and my cat and like just regular daily stuff that I do. And then I'm also putting all the fundraisers over there. And yeah, so this is like my personal pages are there. And then also the Kyiv Collage and CUTOUT Festival, which is our project.
Excellent. Awesome. Annette, thank you so much for joining us. And anybody at home, I myself included, guys, we don't have any excuses for not making art and not supporting the artist community. Annette, I'm sure you've been through a lot, and your community and your country's been through a lot, and it's really, really cool. And I'm totally honored to speak with you. I've been nervous for 2 weeks about this. You're like the first interview I've been like nervous for. I was like, dude, I can't fuck this up, man. And that, you know, is like she's on a tight power schedule. She's doing a lot. So thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I also wanted to add that you said that you've been procrastinating with creating the collective, the local collective over there. I say do it because it's 100% worth it. And when the war, when the full-scale invasion had started, we had to put everything on pause. We had like left the country. Some people left the country. Some people stayed under the bombs flying over their heads, and it was all uncertain. And like we were afraid. I was really afraid that like this project that I worked so hard for, I might lose it. I might never be able to do it again. And like I had so many plans for it and everything, and I was so upset. And then I went on Instagram on both Kyiv Collage and the CUTOUT Festival, and we put out the statements that we're currently on pause and la 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 la, and like this is war. And the amount of love and support we received from the international collage community is just wow. Like cool. The collage community is so friendly. Everybody is like reaching out how we can help, all this, all that. And so I just want to have the space to thank you and thank all people, all artists in the collage communities who are creating these communities, these collectives, these initiatives, and supporting each other. And it's very important. And collage is awesome. I love it.
Awesome. Well, good luck with everything, and hopefully I'll get my act together, and hopefully sometime in the future we could collaborate when I get off my ass and, you know, start putting some shows together for the collective in Buffalo. So yeah. And that Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you
so much. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Same. Bye.
Bye.